When in doubt, TA it out. Bob loves to play some TA. Of course, Palace as well, but I feel like they're just saying, what are you going to do about it? We've left Ember in the pool. It's great against the TA. It's great against the Visage, but Nyx Assassin is going to make your life incredibly difficult if you give us too much leeway. What I want Army Geniuses to do is get a lot more aggressive. The Visage doesn't clear waves very well at all. Nyx doesn't either. You know that... I mean, remember that game that we cast where it was Bob who got absolutely binned in the laning stage, like 4 heroes focusing his lane constantly, and he was still able to come back. I feel like the way that Army Geniuses are going to win this is not only do a decent job in the lane, but also take away that map so that TA doesn't have the space to be able to pick up that catch-up farm. Because Bob will do it if you give him the chance to.
Yeah, and they're going to have... Eventually you have to focus on the Visage as well, putting a lot of pressure into your towers, so... Bloodseeker is going to be the call for Army Geniuses. Very interesting pick. I mean, TA needs to be mobile in a lot of the fights, but we haven't seen the Bloodseeker too much lately.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty decent laner, right? You're going to win out the majority of these lanes. You're going to be spamming out the soul assumption a lot of the time, and then once you hit level 2, disrupt a Bloodseeker, fairly strong, right? Glimpse back into the Blood Right, use that to get him low, and then as long as you're getting kills pretty reliably, then you're going to make sure that you've got that HP in the laning stage. Don't need to spend too much on regen. And again, you're a hero that only really needs 2 items to truly come online, so I don't hate it. You can kite out the TA as well with the Pugna, right? Just toss the decrep onto whoever she's targeting.
So you were still... you were mentioning about the Pudge earlier. Is it still a potential here for Execration into the Bloodseeker? Is that a bit more of an issue now with the potential Aghanim Shard? Because I think Execration... Yes, you could put the TA safe lane, but if the TA is going to be played from Bob, you kind of need the more sacrificial one for Palos.
I was thinking more likely to be Army Genius to pick up the Pudge, to be perfectly honest, right? Because I know you're up against a TA now, so they've got a lot of minus armor, but against the Visage, really shreds through it. Even gets rid of the Refraction pretty reliably, and they do eventually get rid of that Ember Spirit. Of course, the Nyx Assassin complicates issues, but I mean, there's only so much that a single Nyx Assassin can do, right? He can't be mana burning and landing multiple stuns and being in place for the Spike Carapace all at the same time. This is something that Execration actually like to do to their opponents. And, you know, if they pick a Bloodseeker to counter a Razor, then they're just going to pick a Leshrac and a Death Prophet on top of it and say, well, you can only pick one of us. So try and make that choice in the chaos of a team fight.
Some of their lineup has a little bit of issues with dealing with side lanes and starting fights on Execration. So I'm not sure if there's a hero that can kind of help on Palos. No, CK. So
doesn't really do much either, but does do a pretty good job in terms of the laning phase. You know, Pugna, pretty damn squishy early on. So if you can get a nice little combination off with the Chaos Knight and, you know, maybe it's a Mirana as the position 5 as opposed to the Nyx Assassin, then double stun, pretty easy to get the kills off. Even with all that armor that Pugna has, Reality Rift, of course, reduces it, and then very low HP pool to be able to begin the game. Lots of physical, though. I mean, I really want to see someone buying a Wraith Pack this game, but it really doesn't feel like Pugna's the one. So who's actually going to be that hero? Feels to me like Execration have the edge in this draft unless Army Geniuses somehow are able to pick up anyone that's able to buy the Wraith Pact that also can push early on. Like, they couldn't get away with like a mid Beastmaster or something, could they? That's all I can really think about, man.
Choose your hero.
Okay. Does a decent job. It's picking up the pace. Does a decent job in the mid lane. I still really want like a Crimson Guard or a Wraith Pact or AC's too expensive to be able to get early on.
I don't think anyone can build that. They don't have
no,
a
I know.
Yeah,
they don't, but that's what I was really wanting, and I just don't think that there were any heroes left. So this was kind of a let's make the best of a not so great situation. Happens when you pick this Pugna, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got ways to be able to kind of deal with Refraction and Phantasmal Illusions, kind of, for your way.
Maybe you can go Wraith Pact on the Pugna. Like, play it a little bit more, I don't want to say defensively, but as long as you're able to lay down that Wraith Pact, the relative lack of damage that you've got isn't going to be as big of an issue, I don't think, because you might have 20% less damage, but you're causing the enemy team to deal 30% less damage. So you're actually working out in the trade. I don't know, but I still really wanted this game, man.
Really like this Execration draft. I think there are some potential issues with team fighting, but I don't know if that's ever going to come to the forefront with Army Geniuses because they don't have the greatest team fighting lineup as well. I feel like there's just going to be a lot of issues once TA picks up the BKB. Maybe the Rupture is enough to kind of hold her down throughout that duration, but yeah, I like what Radiant are playing with.
They got to crush these lanes on Army Geniuses, right? Like, it is very clear that they are trying to end this game early. Probably if it goes later than 30 minutes, I'd be worried.
How many lanes do you think they should have an advantage in for Execration? Sorry, for Army Geniuses.
I'm going to need to look at the lanes one more time to be able to pick up on that. But again, Bloodseeker Disruptor, it's a fairly decent lane. Again, like Disruptor not the strongest, but paired together with a Bloodseeker, a lot of lanes are really solid. I think the DK is going to do just fine against the TA. And then what is it? Pugna Tusk against CK Marana? Probably going to break even-ish. So I'd say it's even across the board, and it's going to come down to a mechanical skill.
Oh, roses are red. Oh no. Where's your way going?
Come on.
Okay. Well, that's a shame.
That doesn't rhyme with you or ooh or something like that. Come on, think of a roses are red, violets are blue.
I'm good.
No. Come on, I want to hear the creative juices going.
Bob has a double bottle cuter. That's very creative, right?
I'm waiting.
Dude, I'm not doing it. Good luck, Bobby. We got some good lucks as well. We'll see what we have in store for us. Final game here of the lower bracket finals. Who will face Geek Fam? Once again, it's going to be smoke from either side. Connecting into the lane. They might look for the wraparound. Army Geniuses have this ward up, so... Well, that's probably going to reveal the ward placement. It's a bit awkward of him just to run away at that time. Drop it,
He
Carlo.
tried to make it not obvious. He was like, up. Oh, look, there's people here. Imagine that.
Shards, alright. Shanks can still slip on through.
30 seconds to battle.
Can protect the ward.
10 man.
No. No. Oh,
Oh, the
no.
denies will.
No.
I can sign you to dust. I can sign you to dust.
All right, so if Execration got this down, they won the ward battle.
The battle begins.
Yeah, maybe that ward battle is all they needed. Gold experience, 2 bounties apiece. We'll see what we have in store for us. Mid lane should be pretty boring. Can't imagine anything's going to happen between the Dragon Knight and the Templar Assassin. Both should be able to find their
you've
farm.
done it. First blood's going to happen there, I guarantee it.
Maybe I mean, that's what we want, right? To jinx it so we get more action. They're putting Tino down bottom, so what do we make of this?
Good question. I mean, maybe just wanting to make it so that if Decrepify is used, they're not completely useless in terms of the damage output that they're able to put through. I'm just thinking as well, maybe there's a lot more kill threat up on this top side. If Carlo and Palace are there, obviously they've got the double stuns into it. Bloodseeker probably is one of those heroes that if you're up against a Chaos Knight or a Monkey King, that's one of the few melee lanes that you actually don't have a good time against. So maybe they were just wanting to directly counter in your dream.
I guess maybe you can also sustain that lane. Like, one of the big advantage with the Bloodseeker is that, of course, you have the lifesteal to be able to play, so CK will also have that too.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning. Same sort of thing with a Monkey King, right? You got the Jingu.
Just easy. Who needs to buy resources when you got Jingu and Blood Rage? chilling. I'm keeping
Chaos Strike.
tabs on mid, man. Bob is...
I know.
Yeah,
I've been looking.
Bob's fallen quite low to be able to start, so it's a lot of movement speed. And thirst early on for In Your Dream to work with, but it's way, way too early to get any advantage out of it.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem like they're in a position to do it just yet either. Carlo is level 2, so he's going to make sure that he gets sufficiently far away from Varese. Just wondering when he's actually going to go for a kill up on this top side. They don't have the level 2 just yet on the Disruptor.
Shanks might go down, and they got enough damage between the two members with their right clicks after the abilities are used, so first blood picked up for the task.
Alright, so now Carlo's come back to the lane. He's been able to get the sentry ward removed, make sure that he's able to keep that small camp blocked up. And as long as he's here, Palos really shouldn't be in too much danger. But as soon as Carlo leaves, again, that level 2 has been hit with the Bloodseeker and Disruptor combination that's capable of killing almost anyone. But well, you would imagine, at least until he's level 3 now on Varese, that they're not actually going to be able to kill the Mirana. She can just leap away every single time. See, looking to use all of those stats as best as possible is Carlo. Any chance that he can get to be right-clicking away is going to take it.
Can be pretty tricky with the Thunderstrike though. Frisch can continue spamming that one. A couple of mangoes to play with, and they're going to go.
First.
A little bit extra damage coming through, so Palos does have the creep wave under the tower. Tango to work with as well.
They were really wanting to go for this early kill as well. You know, for what I mentioned before, the kill threat was there, which is part of why they made this lane swap happen. They've lost the first blood, and they haven't got this kill up on the top side, which has meant that they've had to ferry a lot of regen over to Palos here. Still not a single point in the Chaos Strike.
Done a very good job at least to be able to hold the creep wave on their side. Rish hasn't attempted to unblock the small camp, so Palos at least is continuing to farm and get the experience he needs out front of the tower. Glover Haste is something that he's going to be working on first item, bottom lane. He's going to be fine. Saw someone TPing in, but CML was just looking to rejoin the lane.
They want to get this kill onto Varish if they can. He is just right there. They can't do it into the middle of a creep wave, though. That's the big issue. Is Carlo either just going to cop a few right clicks to the face, but now maybe that it's pushed back into their own creep wave, they'll look to get rid of that range creep and then go for the kill whenever possible. But they're just good positioning coming through from In Your Dream, preventing that from being a factor. Mid lane.
Yeah, TPing in. Rish on the Disruptor, 2 points Thunder Strike. Bob has the refractions, so he's going to be okay.
All right. That means that In Your Dream's going to need to get the hell out of this lane. But he doesn't actually have that small camp to be able to play around with or to pull. Still blocked up. So, looks like Varish will be able to get back to the lane. Still blocked up, but he'll be able to remove this one now. Done its job, though.
That it has indeed. Blocking up the camp for as long as it's 5 minutes. Means that Palos has gotten a lot out of the top lane, and our other side lane has been very quiet at the moment as well. But the cores continuing to find their farm. Really just overall this game has been quiet, so we're going to start to see some rotations come out with the power rune spawning shortly. Bob, of course, has his bottle to play with. Same with Yoe, is looking for the kill onto the TA. And Bob doesn't...
Carlo's hanging around. He's waiting to try and find that perfect angle. Maybe if Yoe goes for a dive a bit too deep. Looks like he'll just take out the siege creep for now.
Bottom lane, alright. Tino's gonna go down, so Armagenius just put the emphasis on trying to get the kill in the bottom lane instead of trying to secure the power rune for Yoe. Might be able to hold Shanks down with the Dragon Tail, but not gonna be the case, so well, I guess Bob doesn't get it to be able to refill his resources, playing with incredibly low health and mana.
He has a bunch of tangos on Carlo, but doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. He's just going to be happy enough to... Oh, Yoe, are they going to be able to land a kill onto this one here? It's going to need to be stun into stun. He does not have a sentry to be able to play around with, so CML didn't have any delivered either. I don't know if they've got the damage for this. It's still too early. Bob's getting a decent amount out of this lane, and that's all he can really ask for.
They're gonna go for it now though, Yoe. The ultimate picked up, but the turnaround is there. Snowball to be able to dodge the arrow, but the traps are still slowing them down, but it doesn't look like they'll continue on with this attempt. So, at least they are wasting a little bit of the Elder Dragon form usage.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to get any damage in onto this tower. Right now, Bob's just going to look to position himself with those side blades to be able to clear it as quickly as possible. Make sure that Yoei just needs to play a bit more passively. So, wins going to Execration so far, despite that 0-2 kill score.
Yeah, because you got Tino being able to survive the lane. Of course, some of the issues with the Visage is after level 1, you are very, very weak, and the C2 is being able to find some experience, and they also made some stacks at the Ancient, so they got a double stack there and at the hard camp as well for Bob to fall back on.
And, Shanks has been able to rejoin Tino down on this bottom side as well, who has reached that level 5, so should have plenty of ability to just run away.
Arrow's gonna connect. He was able to get the blood right down beforehand, but still in your dream. Won't be able to take the fight. Just some resources being expended between the two. Nothing too crazy.
And this is that period where, you know, level 1 Starstorm might be great for being able to get the harass out in the 1v1 battles between supports, but you just saw how underwhelming it was to try and confirm that kill.
Dire's middle tower.
Top side, Carla might be in trouble.
Drag back. 2-second stun's gonna come out a little bit too late from Palos. And your Dream has enough movement speed to be able to get away. So there will not be a trade. Well, this bottom tower is taking a lot of damage as well, Tino. I have to duck back into the tree line. Seymour will finally find him, but DB's a little bit too far away to be able to capitalize. So a kill for Execration. They're even able to get the Nether Ward as well.
It's the 20 gold, so not too bad. And Bob gets his bottle refilled as well. So the important thing is they're giving up kills across the map on Execration, but they're extending their net worth lead. This top side going a lot better for Palos than I'm sure Geniuses might have been expecting. Bot side, though, continues to be the bane of their existence. They're picking up the pace, doing what their draft was designed to do. Both tower pushing heroes playing together.
Yeah, and looking at this now with the Pugner and the Dragonite, with being able to take early towers, do we feel like there's a potential issue for Execration and how they can defend their objectives across the map?
I think the big thing is they just want to make sure that they're in a decent spot to be able to defend the 10-minute mid-tower push. Actually, they're going top here a little bit here, trying to get the free kill onto Palace, and they'll be able to land it.
First use of the Rupture from In Your Dream, and DB TPing in as well, and very nicely done. We'll see if DB what he wants to look to do now, if he's going to put some damage into the tier 1, or maybe look to connect mid with that next Elder Dragon form, and the catapult timing like you were mentioning. And I'm a bit worried that Execration, I don't think they can actually protect that. I think this will be a free tier 1 tower to go down from Army Geniuses.
Yeah, so I mean, essentially what they know is they've got about 45 seconds.
Oh, nice decrypt. And they might go for Bob now. You're always going to try and bring off the damage to be able to get rid of the Templar Assassin. Even Palos getting involved as well. A 2-second stun means DB will go down. Even In Your Dream wants to connect. Who do they want to target though? They don't have the stuns to hold Palos inside the blood right. He's now by himself a little bit. This is not an easy kill at all. Teen also a TP'd in, so he doesn't have the familiars to play with, but Palos is still max out Chaos Strike. It's enough damage to get the kill onto the Dragonite, so
you go for this.
Yeah, they will. Palos, he's going to continue to chase. The members are starting to respawn though, so they've got to be really cautious of how deep they want to take the attempt. There's a snowball, sucks them in before the Chaos Bolt is able to connect, but they have still gone very far forward as the sun sets up for the arrow as Palos finds 3 in quick succession.
And this is the thing, they've been able to respond. They knew exactly the timing that was coming through from Army Geniuses. A couple of great team fights means that this tower push isn't necessarily going to come off completely unhinged. They've still got the siege creep available. You've still got the Pugner with the 4 points Nether Blast mid, and you've got that Elder Dragon form available once more. So feels like Execration, they got to pick their poison. Are they going to be able to defend this, or are they going to just try and get something in exchange with Visage pushing into the top tower?
They might also get Shanks along with the push on Army Geniuses, so another kill to add to the tally. But like we were saying, no way for them to be able to defend. So, I mean, Execration are probably pretty happy though with that last skirmish before this tower goes down. Get some gold, get some experience, hoping to try and take the stack at your Ancients before Army Geniuses can rotate there. And does look like... Oh, no, he missed. Oh, missed.
Unfortunate. Oh, he's blocked as well.
Can they get him now? very close to some objectives, so the team can start to funnel on over. Refraction's going to buy him some time, but in the end, they will be able to get the kill.
Glimpse back.
And they're going to be able to glimpse away Palace as well, so they don't have the Chaos Knight to turn it, but Shanks is all they need to at least get the kill onto DB. Now, they're going to be cautious, because Tino's starting to get ready with the backstab. Familiars are a go. Look at the first stun, setting up for the arrow perfectly, and that'll add another kill for Execration. So even though you lose Bob, at least you're able to rectify that slightly with some of your own kills.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing is Bob is needing to be the one to carry this game, so unfortunate that they get the kill. It's off the back of a really nice shards, of course, coming through from CML, who once again is playing a really solid game, just dodging a bunch of jukes, setting up for a bunch more for his own team. The thing is, though, they recognized what they were capable of doing with this draft. They know that if it goes late, they're probably going to have the edge. But, you know, taking tier 1 top, being able to still be top 2 net worth on your position 1 and 2, I think Execration is still going to feel okay with the general position of this game.
Yep. And with kind of the pace they want to set, though, is it still just off the back of farming? Can they get pickoffs with like a Nyx Moran or even Nyx +1? Or what is kind of the status that Execration want this game to be in?
If they were going to do it, it would be with these 3 heroes that are paired together bottom, right? Like, right now, Tino still needs those items. He's going into the Wraith Pact for himself.
Look at Shanks' positioning.
Double stun.
Lines it up perfectly, so they'll get rid of the Disruptor. The turnaround potential. They can't aim the Marana. Actually, doesn't have any more leap charges, so the Snowboarder dragged him further in. Kyler will go down. They did use the Rupture for the kill, so they won't be able to get anything more out of it, but Execration going to be happy. You lose your 1-for-1. Bob's farming mid. Tino farming the Ancients as well.
Yep. 2 TPs as well brought bottom. So you know that you have time to be able to play a little bit more aggressively, specifically up towards this top side of the map. They're picking out the fact that this camp has been blocked for quite some time by Varish. Looks like it'll still tick over that 14-minute mark as well. But again, they're happy on Execration. They've kited this game out very effectively. They're going to try and go for it again, though. Palace is priority number 1. If they make these movements... Ooh.
Not easy. Army Genius got to be cautious. They are starting to move down bottom, though. Really close to the Blink being picked up on your way. So the wraparound, high ground advantage. So they have so much information to play with, but the shards is off the mark. They're still going to go for it. This is really deep. And Execration, they can get out so no one dies.
Yeah. Glimpse still just the 2 points, so wasn't able to get Palace back there into the meat grinder, and that's again another use of the Elder Dragon form that's not going to result in too much.
And our mid might go down.
Actually, Bob, yeah.
Oh man,
Shanks, good setup as well, just to be able to protect if they were looking to commit their on for it. Start moving top, should get scouted out by this Observer Sentry Ward combination. So, In Your Dream will know that he needs to play a little bit more defensively, and he does. So, good map awareness.
So could we see this Wraith Pact and Deso timing be something that Execration look to utilize, potentially to take a fight around the pit?
Oh, Shanks. See you later. I think they can. I think the big thing that they're wanting to do is just try and force a fight around tier 1, take the tier 1, win the team fight with your items advantage, and then go for Roche, right? Okay. But you're not wanting to go aggressively super far out of the lanes, because if you do that, Bob, this is what might happen. It's cutting them fairly effectively, and they're actually going to stop the chase.
They also got a kill across the map as well. Pelos and Murano in combination together is able to bring down DB's Pugna, so slowing down some of his item progression. Bob's also getting closer to the Desolator as well. They're all farming really nice on Execration. This is a concern because his timing's going to come out shortly, and once they get them, they're ready to go to take some objectives.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've got about a minute left on Army Geniuses to be able to make something happen, and the downside to that is... the double damage does help things. So, Yoey, Blink Dagger, DD, Elder Dragon form. A core has to die right now.
Just which core are they going to be able to find? They do scan at the triangle. Look how Tino's farming and the ward on the high ground.
Yeah, they know. Do they know? Shanks might give up his life for it, but again, you don't really care. This is one of those situations where a support is happy to give up his life for the cause, even if it just means a couple of seconds of delay.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, the Outer Dragon form's going to be used as well. I guess at this stage of the game, it's only really farming. Glimpse back, Static Storm. Should be able to deal with the Gravekeeper's Cloak, and, well, the Wraithback will not help out at all, so...
Execration. At all on Tino. Little surprised.
Now mid lane, Yoe, he's already looking for the +1. It's a stun. Still one more leap charge to play with on Carlo. Snowball should be able to close the distance with ease. Bashard's up in a couple of seconds, and they won't even need it. So nicely done. I mean, we're okay with Shanks just losing his life on the Nyx Assassin, but now that you bleed more kills as well, you're definitely not what you're looking for out of Execration.
No, definitely not. They're going to look to, I would assume, keep this mid tower, even though it's quite low still. Of course, very important to have everything possible to be able to contest that next Roshan. But in the meantime, Palace, Bob continue to grow their lead. Palace took bottom tier 1 tower, so now you've even got a little bit more potential on Bob to just, with your farming patterns, start to breach your way up into the dire ancient camp, just because that's not where they want to be. They want to be playing aggressive. This is what they drafted for, playing on Execration's side of the map if they can. Just going to hope for a solid power rune to come out here from Bob. Look to clear out that mid wave, pick that one up for himself, and then if that's going to be enough to enable the push forward. It's going to be an illusion rune. CML looks like he'll be able to maybe catch out
they're
Bob
gonna
here,
jump
and they
on
instantly
this?
take the chance.
They line up for a double stun though. Bob's going to stand his ground and look to turn it, but once again the snowball buys them time. Even in your dream, chucks out the rupture as well, so they're going to be able to bring down Bob. Are they looking for more? Can they catch up to anyone though? Palace is considering about entering. He's got the Phantasm up in a couple of seconds. Looking to try and catch Army Geniuses off guard. Might be able to get in range for the Reality Rift, but DB makes it back to his side of the map.
It's another kill onto Bob, one that I'm sure he wouldn't want to give up. I mean, just going solo without vision into that power rune is a little ballsy, ends up paying for it. Really nice reaction times coming through from, honestly, both supports on Army Genius's side. I feel like CML has been on point with a lot of these snowballs, the static storms instantly to prevent any kind of save coming through. Good, oh, man. This is support gameplay right now. Carlo with the instant leap away as soon as anyone tries to make an aggressive move there. Sentry Ward should be placed down, should be able to remove this. It doesn't save the vision though.
Well, Yoe tried to tank the arrow, but a little bit too late to step in. Still even wants to consider about fighting. Gotta be cautious though. Palace's damage is something that they haven't really seen so far in this game, and well, now it'll come into play. Mega kill streak here for the Chaos Knight. And with those two kills, that might be Roche. Bob's back alive.
CML has to blink on out. Feels like a pretty safe Roshan to me.
And that's all
No
you need.
static storm. Well, it's up in 5 seconds, but I don't know if you're going to be able to connect onto this one fast enough. Shanks again, just putting himself into a really risky position. Ooh, got the Tumbler's toy back, but still gets the stun.
Palos moving over towards DB's location. Army Genius is still ready to fight. Gonna try and target down with the Chaos side at the moment. They should be able to secure the kill thanks to the Bloodseeker's damage, but afterwards, he needs to get out. Not gonna have the movement speed for the moment, but there's no catch up, however. Traps will slow him down and lines up perfectly for the arrow as well. Yoe's back alive. How much the dragon?
Kill that tower. It's on 31 health, and you've already had one person TP into this fight. They'll still be able to get it on the end of it, but it's a very risky proposition to just dive underneath that one when it was literally one hit away.
This is scary now for Army Geniuses. I mean, Execration with the lineup you got. I mean, TA really loves to play around with the Aegis advantage, especially that first Roche. You can look to control a lot of the map, and they have multiple heroes that can provide them vision too, so it is not going to be easy for Army Geniuses to take a favorable fight.
CML with the super early blink dagger. He's looking to go for these saves as much as possible, but I mean, without those sentries, life's going to be a little bit difficult for him. Ends up getting rid of the life drain just with the use of the Carapace, and this is something that I feel like really Shanks excels on. You know, putting himself up there on the front lines, whether it be his Tusk, his Clockwork, his Nyx Assassin. He's great on the more ranged heroes, Hoodwink Barana, but this is where I want to see him shining.
The smoke wrap around. Pretty good position for them to drop their harbor. will allow Yoe some time to be able to move out to the right side. And it's also
This
giving
is the
them...
thing, though. They don't necessarily want the time. The net worth is continuing to grow for Execration, and that was an Elder Dragon form used for not too much. So it really feels like Army Geniuses maybe are just trying to build into their next items as quickly as they can. It's going to be the Halberd for Yoe, and then maybe wanting to go past that stage. I mean, have you got to... Oh.
They're diving the tower. DB is going to go DB out, but Palos just able to get in range. And now Carlo also will see CML. They drop the ward on the higher ground, so even the Tusk's going to have some difficulty with escaping. Trying to get cute with a snowball, but the Urn's going to stop the blink. CML will not be able to escape. Bob's even trying to deny the creeps to get those side blade working as well, but there we go. Blink back up. Easy kill for them to find, and meanwhile, I guess it does drag them away from the tower, so I mean, we'll see. No, I'll hold that thought, Shanks. Looking to move back into his own jungle. We'll see both the cores and Army Geniuses. Yoe's the target. He's not an easy kill, but Pelosh should be able to help with providing the damage. And oh my lord, in fact, a couple of crits and he just melts.
At least he was able to pick up the Halberd first before he dies, and it looks like that's what In Your Dream is building into too, realizing that that evasion is going to be so influential against these 3 physical damage cores. But again, we're really seeing the weakness of a lack of a Wraith Pact buyer, lack of anyone that wants to go into the Crimson Guard, for example. It's just not the Pugna style. So DB, while he's been able to find a few good pickoffs, he's fallen behind in the net worth because of not influencing these team fights rather than individual pickoffs, perhaps as much as he would like.
Army Geniuses, they're going to look to try and take a fight with the smoke. So we'll have the Aegis advantage. The team's not really playing behind Bob at the moment. They'll be too late to defend the tower, but Bob... Are they going to try this? Not easy. CML, smoke pops. They're going to be able to get the glimpse back, but
Blink.
he just blinks away.
Yep.
And the smoke on Army Geniuses will be to no avail. They're still considering about trying to occupy this area. They're even going to drop a ward down as well, but Execration just doing a really good job playing the distance and not giving Army Genius an opportunity.
Lead's continuing to grow. I mean, in the past 2-3 minutes, it's gone from a 5k net worth lead up to 8. So it just really shows, even without that Roshan, how fast they're able to flash farm on a lot of these heroes. Much more single target focused on Army Geniuses. And, well, I don't even know within your dream if that Halberd is going to be enough. It really feels like they might need that Aghanim shard as well on top of everything else.
I think it might be, when the double hell, it really depends, right? If you can get it off before you're stunned or before Bob pops the BKBs. Bottom lane, well, if you even get the kills onto the Bloodseeker, that's going to slow down the timing. He'll try and get his own BKB off, but to no avail. Bob instantly pivots over with a haste, and now over to their own triangle as well. They're going to be quick with the kill and get out on Army Geniuses, but Carlo's survivable. Has the mechanism healed to play with, even lands the arrow onto Yoe to the left side. So they're all gonna go down. Yoe will try and TP. Familiar stun's just a bit too late. But Execration are continuing just to swarm over Army Geniuses. This is getting into a really dangerous territory where they might not even get the items on Army Geniuses to combat this.
No, I don't think they will at all, and Palace has even got that Blink Dagger as well, so he's able to go for the backlines. The few fights that have gone their way have been on the back of a solid Static Storm coming out from Varij, but it makes your life a whole lot more challenging if you don't have that to play around, especially with the TA purchasing the Aghanim Shard next. You can just look to lay those ones out super deep, try and find him, and enable Palos, who should feel pretty fearless right now, to be able to just go in, instantly wipe him out.
Yeah, what a 10-2 and 4. Palos looking incredible on a hero that we don't see too often. Of course, a staple for a particular teams, but Palos showing that he has the chops to be able to play the Chaos Knight to an incredible level, and the hard is going to make it so difficult for them to kill him. All these outer towers are now claimed, and just more map control your way. You've got even the Ag Shard queued up next for Bob, so how are Army Geniuses going to get out on the map when they have no vision and Execration have all the vision they would ever need?
Pretty rough, isn't it? Like, we were saying that they needed to end this game in about 30 minutes, and it doesn't look anywhere close to that. Just the lane's going a little bit better for Execration than I'm sure Army Genius were hoping. They tried to go back to the well with this Pugner after the success in game 1, but feels like Execration have just kind of maneuvered their way around this. They know when they see an Army Genius's Pugner that you're not going to have this
bottom
aura
lane.
builder.
Shanks is spotting out in your dream. They're going to turn, but they're unaware. Palace is already moving over. Pop the Phantasm from afar. He's going to go for in your dream. But a BKB will stop the stun, but it still might not be enough. The rest of Army Genius is starting to move down bottom, but Bob, he's gotten involved as well. A Halberd doesn't stop the damage. They're going to be able to swarm over them. Onto the Pugner they go. And even Tino, look at that. The wraparound will stop Yoey. He enters the high ground. They're even going to look to buy back, but this will do nothing. Yoey's going to go down inside his base. The supports might join him as well, as Bob's not done just yet. Jumping on forward, a couple more right clicks, gets the Disruptor. Now the Tusk is going to die. Multiple buybacks, but it's going to do nothing. Army Genius is 20,000 deficit. And this looks to be insurmountable.
DP with the Aghanim Shard, just trying to do everything he can while those BKBs aren't available anymore, but a stun, Shanks.
Double stun, bye-bye Yoey, and their hopes of Army Geniuses of getting a rematch. As Execration, it looks like this will be their 3rd Pro Series in a row where they'll book their ticket into the Grand Finals.
Think 3rd time's going to be the charm?
We'll see. I mean, often it's said it's supposed to be, and with the form they're in, looking pretty good.
Yeah. Looking fairly solid, just no Viper. That's all I want. You know? That rich vein of form is continuing as long as they're able to play effectively as a full cohesive unit, and well, maybe they'll know to ban the Bounty Hunter. A little bit of stuff coming through as Yoey. PMA as always,
Winnable.
given the winnable.
Oh, the tips are deserved. Did they rub? Did they get the Lotus Orb rub?
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. Fellas, dude, you can just stand strong. No care in the world. How do you even touch this Chaos Knight nor all the other members as the G's are dropped? A hell of a run for Army Geniuses, but it will be stopped short. Finishing in 3rd place in our grand finals and our set. Execration against Geek Fam.
Pretty exciting to get that result at the end of the day. I guess we probably would have said Fnatic Geek Fam at the very start of the tournament, right? But Execration would have been up there as a lot of people's expectations coming off really solid performance over at the Predator event in Japan, coming in 2nd place, I believe. Took Polaris to 3 games, and well worthy of their spot in the grand finals all throughout this lower bracket. And remember, they had to come from the lower bracket from the very beginning, have just looked better and better and better.
They've won 4 series in a row, Execration. But, of course, their opponent, Geek Fam, they are yet to drop a map in the playoffs. They were able to 2-0 eHome, and they 2-0'd Army Geniuses as well. So this is not going to be an easy affair at all. But the beautiful thing is that we have a best of 5, Danog. So a lot of the playoffs early on, a lot of the days and a lot of the series were all 2-0s. I'm really hoping that the best of 5, we go the distance. And I think with the form that Execration are in and with how they performed in this series, they definitely could have that potential. And it's going to be a very, very even blockbuster, I think.
Yeah, I mean, again, like Geek Fam, they haven't lost a single series. Otherwise, they would have been out, of course, since these playoffs. So you've got the 2 undefeated teams of the playoffs facing up against each other, kind of fitting. And I feel like Army Geniuses, like I was mentioning before, Execration, they adapted, right? They lost to the Pugner in game 1. And then when the Pugner came out again, they changed tacks. They said he's not going to build auras. I mentioned it during the draft that you're lacking this Wraith Pact builder. You're lacking this person that's going to stop all of this physical damage from eventually running over you